Hey everyone, this is Max and welcome to another no-code video. Now in this video I'm going to show you how to use the Watson Natural Language Understanding service, how to use it without any code. And I'm using Parabola, which I used in my previous videos, but Parabola allows me to build these small applications without any code really. And then you sort of, as you can see, you build the application out of these steps. So I like to look at it as kind of a visual serverless environment where each step is a small serverless function, and then you connect them all, connect together to create a flow. Okay, um, so I mentioned Watson NLU, and this is I have it right here. So you can create an absolutely free forever IBM Cloud account and then create the service. So it's one of the free services that you get from IBM Cloud. Now, in this video, I'm just gonna sort of show you a high-level overview, and then I'll create a separate blog post where I'll show the steps, how to create the service and some other things in more detail. So this is the service on the IBM Cloud. Now the way this works is that, again, also at a high level, is that you can take text or URLs, analyze the text and the content, and then give you a score, whether the sentiment is negative, neutral, or positive. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a new service called News API, which will get the top 10 headlines and then pass it to the NLU service, and then we'll see if the article is negative, neutral, or positive. Again, instead of sending text, we'll send the actual URL. So you also need to have an account here as well. Again, you can sign up for a free account with newsapi.org. All right, so let's go back here. So now what happens in the end? So I get the news, I analyze the news, and then what I do at the end, actually, I'm going to export the data to Google Sheets. So I'm going to have the title, the URL, the sentiment score, and then the label. And this is going to turn red, yellow, or green, depending on the sentiment score. All right, so let's go back to Parabola and then let's see how this looks. So the first step is to invoke the News API, and this step is called API import. And if I open it, this is how it looks. So I set the endpoint, and the country is set to US. The category is general, and then I have my API key, and then the page size. I want to get 10 articles. And then the result that I get is this. As you can see, Parabola sort of takes the response and puts it in this table-like format. So that's how Parabola works. Basically, the data is represented in a table-like format, and then you pass it from step to step. All right, so let me show you. Let's just refresh the resources here. All right, so we got some news. Again, these are general news, and then there is a URL. Okay, so we're going to use the URL in a second. It's just recalculating the flow because I sort of updated the step. So let's give it just a few seconds. And then we will continue. Okay, so API enrichment. So this is where I invoke the Watson NLU. So right here, I have an endpoint. This is where I call the Watson NLU. And then notice right here, this is where I pass in the URL. Okay, so this is the input that I get. This is from the previous step. And then I pass in this URL. And then the results, right, I actually have extra columns here now. You can see like this, but let's find the one we want. You can see right here, score. So this is the sentiment score that Watson NLU returned. So the first article has a negative. You can see negative. There's one neutral, and there's also one positive. All right, so this is where we invoke Watson NLU to process the URLs. Now the next few steps are very simple. There's kind of more formatting. Now notice that here I get 15 columns. I don't need all the columns. I actually just need just 4. the title, URL, the score, and the label, right? So you can control how many columns to continue working with. The last step is I'm just renaming the columns just to make it more consistent. So instead of using this long name, I say rename to sentiment score, a sentiment score label. And you see the result is right here. All right, and the final step is I export this to a Google Sheets document. So I connect to Google Sheets, to a Google account, and then there's the file name, and then the sheet name, and I decide to overwrite. All right, so everything is saved. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to click Update Live Version, and I'm going to run the flow. All right, so let's see. It's going to take a few seconds because again, it has to sort of analyze every URL, but we should see the result in just a few seconds. And then when that happens, this should be updated. All right, and here we go. And we got the title, the URL, and then the sentiment score. As we can see, the general news, everything is pretty negative, except just one. Now these colors, this is just conditional formatting in Google Sheets, so it's pretty straightforward. But that's it. Again, this is using, let me go back here. This is using Watson NLU, again, without really writing a single line of code. The only thing you do need to do is get the endpoint and set the API key, but that's basically it. Let's do one quick change, and right here, instead of general, let's do business news. Hopefully we'll get more positive news. Let's update. All right, and then it's has to recalculate again. So give it a few seconds here. All right, and let's update the live version, and then let's click run. And if we go here, so let's see, there's only one positive. So hopefully business news, there are more positive sentiment scores there. So let's see what's going to happen. All right, and here we go. Yes, so we do have more positive. So we have 3 articles that have more positive sentiment. I think that's pretty much it. Let me go back here quickly. That's all I wanted to show you. Again, the idea was to show you how you can use Watson NLU without any coding. Now, one other thing I'm going to mention, if I go back here, you can schedule this to run. So for example, you can run this every day, a few times a day, and so on. So then you'll get these results automatically. So again, I hope this was useful, and I'll write a more detailed tutorial of how to build this, and we'll publish this on my blog. Thank you for watching.